Yes, hello and welcome to Pillar TV. This is Sharp Business, where we want you to be the game changer. And on set today, we have Madam Anne, who is the principal, Test College. She's going to take us through youth and entrepreneurship. We know the youth are the drivers of the economy, and for us to realize Vision 2030, we need youths in the economy. Welcome, Madam Anne. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Nice to have you.
Nice to have you.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Welcome.
We appreciate.
Thank you.
Now, we are talking about young people, and you are talking about 60 to 70% of the youths in this nation. They are the drivers of the economy, and they are the ones who are going to take us to realize Vision 2030. What are we really talking about when we talk about 60 to 70% of the youth in terms of economy?
When you talk about 60 to 70% of the youth in the Kenyan economy, it's one thing that we must agree that the Kenyan youth are the greatest asset that the Kenya has for now and also for the youth. But when you look at our youth today, majority of them we are talking about unemployment. So these are the people who are supposed to be the drivers of the economy. So we must take care of them, and in the devolution, we must make sure that they have been involved 100%. Now,
hold that thought right there. You said they are the drivers of the economy. Now, according to the recent study, and local newspaper printed that 60% of the youth's population are unemployed. 50% of them are employed, but in the wrong jobs. So we're actually taking people to the universities. They are studying and becoming very good professionals, but when we bring them to the market world, we are giving them the wrong jobs. And less than 15% are the only ones who have ventured into businesses. Are we missing out something here? Or when the moment we became devolved, there was an issue with that?
Well, if you look at our education right from the word go, even when you and me were growing up, there is the way we were brought up, and there is the way we were being encouraged by our parents. And you remember that statement, which we keep on asking our child. When you grow up, what do you want to become? Nobody says that I want to become an entrepreneur.
No.
Most of us is, when I grow up, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a teacher, I want to become a pilot. So there's nobody who told us that when we are growing up, that we can also become employers. So majority of us, we are looking for the white collar jobs, and for sure we cannot all fit in the office. So that is where the issue of unemployment is coming, because our thinking is in terms of a small box, where all of us, we must fit in an office. And honestly, if you look at the population of the youth and the offices we have, we cannot fit in those offices. So we must think on how we can empower the youth and make them become employers. And by becoming employers is by starting these small businesses. Yes.
Hold that thought right there. You said that our education system is not actually allowing the people to go out to the market world being entrepreneurs. We are actually baking people to become employees, you know. Now, are we missing something out in our education system? What should the government do? Because most of these people are learned, but when they're coming out there, they're looking for the white collar jobs, because so it's like a drop of a drop of paraffin in a whole ocean. So what is there? What should the government do?
Well, I must commend the introduction of the new education system, because at least this one will not be about the A's, about the B's that our children are going to get. But we are going to tap on the talent which they have according to our best abilities. It is just like in a household. It does not mean that when a mother gives birth, she does not give birth to everyone who is tall or to everybody who is short. Some of us in our families are tall, others are short, others are slender, others are plump. The same case with our education. We need to realize that nobody who is an A scholar, or not everybody who is an A scholar, but out of the many children we have out there, we have a person who is very good in music.
Yeah.
We have another good person another person who is very good in pastry. We have another person who is very good in tailoring. But if you keep on telling them you must become doctors, that is where we are getting it wrong, because you're pushing someone to do something which is not made for them at all. So we need to have an education system which touches on all the other corners of a child.
Now, when we have such kind of an education system, if we are going to have one, I was reading another newspaper, and there was this lady by the name Bridget Achieng, who has actually built a beauty empire in Nairobi. She has been able to dress the likes of these big shows we have in America, like the American Idol. We also have the latest one, which was there, that is Tusker Project fame. And she's a young lady. But you find that most of the young people we have today in our societies have a lot of talents in them, but they're not making use of them. What can we do and help them realize? Because you also understand that we do not have a platform as a nation to assist the young people with the talents that they have. What can be done?
A lot can be done, starting from our houses, going to our schools, going to our county at large. If you look around today, like how many talent shows have you had in Kirinyaga County?
Maybe one that is upcoming, but I've not had any happening.
Only one which is upcoming?
Yeah.
How many people are aware of it? You could be aware of it because you are a media person, and you must go and get that news.
Yeah.
For me, I've actually heard about it now.
From me?
Yes, from you. So that means majority of our youth are not even aware where they can expose their talent, and they need to have that exposure, because if they lack the exposure, nobody who will be able to identify the great talents which they have among themselves. So I think we should have a platform where we can encourage people to actually show what they have. The community can be able to embrace them. There's this poet called Carol. Carol actually realized she's an entrepreneur and she's a poet, which if you listen to her story, she says that she actually went into it accidentally because she was invited in a wedding of a friend, and she decided to recite a poem. Eventually, many people sought her expertise in poetry. So today, she's earning out of that poetry. That is not something which she went to school to train. It is a talent, something which is inborn. Look at the many people we have out there, even in weaving, great. If you look at some people who are out there, who also have fine art, they only do it for fun, and they hang those very good portraits in their houses or cubicles. But nobody who is out there to expose their talent. So if you'd ask me, with the devolution which is there today, I wish we can be having a forum where we can be having our youth who are able they can get an exposure where they can actually be able to do what? To showcase their talent. Some of those talents, they can take them very far, but we don't even have those. Look at the outside countries. We have the talent shows, is it? Which are actually aired live on the television. TV, for us, it is not there at all. So that is something which we need.
Now, on that note also, when they get those talents, or anyone realizes they got a talent in them, and they are trying to make it as a source of income for them, don't you think the young people are, I would say, a bit lazy because they're not taking the opportunity of the technology? They know the things they know. They can post their items on social media, because I've seen most of the people growing through that. Actually, I have a friend. She does ladies' clothes sales online. In fact, on Facebook, to be assertive. Like she has been doing that. But you find most of the people, they are just there. When you log in online, it's WhatsApp, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, following all those things. Do you think that young people needs to be taught? Is there a mindset that needs to be put in them? Because you look at all those things, they have talents in them. We're talking about they are taught, and I think they have all what it takes, but at that point they are not able to do anything from them. what should be done now? What kind of a mind of transformation can we do to our young people for them to focus on the opportunities they have? Because opportunities are there.
Opportunities are there, and they need to be tapped. For our young youth, if you look at almost 85%, we can actually say that they own a smartphone.
Yeah.
But when you see, when you really try to understand what they do with those phones, it's nothing much constructive. It's hi, how have you been? Where can we meet? But remember, this is an asset which can actually make you very rich when you are still under 25.
Yeah.
We say that a phone, anytime you put airtime on that particular phone, that airtime should generate business.
Yeah.
And how do you generate business? It is through the social media that we are having. Look at something like Jumuiya. If you go through if you go through your Facebook, I'm sure you'll not go beyond 5 posts before you see something like earn real money through the Facebook, is it? Can we train these people on how to be self-reliant and how to be independent? There are quite a number of jobs which these people can actually do using the internet. I've seen people doing research. So instead of going to those sites which are just to spoil your mind, let them be shown on how they can work. We have the elite in the society. We have the techno-savvy in the society. So as I'm still insisting, let's have these forums. Let's train our youth on what they can actually be able to do with their phones. Eventually, we will have youth who are employed. I think this is what we call briefcase offices. You don't have to have an office, okay? A four-walled building. But your phone is actually what? Is a working office, which you can actually do a lot with it. Thank you.
No, that's very good. I think I am blaming it on the mindset, because since we were young, as I was growing up, I used to be asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I used to say I wanted to become a pilot. And it's funny, when I got to high school, the dreams changed. I changed to something else. And when I went to campus, I changed also. Now, do you think it's an issue of mindset, the kind of mindset you've instilled in our young people's minds? Because they don't have entrepreneurial minds. They are not, the opportunities are all over, they cannot see them. And we are talking about people with the kind of opportunities and potential that this country needs for it to move forward. How can we change their mindset?
The mindset begins with me. The mindset begins with you and from our parents. I remember there's one case I handled of a child who never performed very well. And the parent was so proud, saying that, in my family, there is no failure. So whom do you want to take after? And I have just said, let us not train our children that, I'm not saying that education is bad or getting A's is bad, please kindly get me right. I know. But we are saying that these people, they must also be trained that there is something else after the books. So if you're not very good in books, you can also be very good in business. Look at the most successful people in the world today. People like Donald Trump, those people, is not that they are very good, smart in books, but they had the entrepreneurial, mindset. So that mindset, it needs to be taken care of from when we are growing up. Let us not keep on telling our children that we must become those doctors. Let us tell them that there is an alternative, that if you don't become a doctor, you can also become a great employer, you can also become a great entrepreneur, you can be the person who will be dressing the president, you know, you can become the person who will be supplying all our schools with, you know, the praying materials. Now, let us go back to the modern class. We have the beginner classes, is it? Like like the nursery schools, is it? When you go to those classes, what are we training our children? When I was growing up, I remember we used to have models where we would make very good dolls. We used to have classes for music. We used to have art and craft. Today they are not there.
They are not there.
If you tell that child to hold a hammer, he will not even understand what you're saying. If today you are wearing a torn cloth, where do you take it? to the tailor,
To the
because
tailor.
you cannot be able even to mend a very
mend, yeah.
small hole,
Yeah.
you know, on your clothes.
clothes, yeah.
Let's make sure that we are giving our children enough exposure,
Yeah.
so that we can also, as they are growing up, they will grow up knowing that there is so much that we can do apart from education. And when we combine all that, definitely we will become successful.
Wow, that's nice. When we come back, we are going to talk about Youth Fund.
Thank you.
You are watching Pillar TV, and this is Sharp Business. With us today is Madam Anne Wambui, who is a principal, Test College. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Pillar TV, shaping your destiny.
As the great Malcolm X said, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And that is why we as the Sky Limit fraternity, we aim to give our best.
Pillar TV, shaping your destiny.
Welcome back to Pillar TV. This is Sharp Business, where we want you to be the game changer. And our guest today is Madam Anne Wambui, who is the principal, Test College. Welcome back, Madam.
Thank you.
Now, we were talking about young people and the issue of mindset. What is Test College doing about changing the mindset of young people, making sure that we are releasing the right people in the society, people who are having entrepreneurial minds, who are not going out there to seek for jobs, but rather create them?
Well, thank you so much for that question. Now, in Test College, we are actually known for business courses.
Yeah.
One of the things which we have trained our students is that once you get in a class, you are not in that class so that you can become employed.
No.
But we want you to create a youth, we want to create employment to the youth. So the training which you're given, once in a while, they are taken out to the industries where they can actually run on the opportunities which are out there. And I can proudly say that quite a number of my students, they have become entrepreneurs, where they have become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And we also invite some of the entrepreneurs who are within our town to encourage the youth and tell them that not everybody who can actually become employed, but they also need to be an employer. And actually, we have told them that you get more opportunities when you become your own boss.
Your boss, yeah.
Not necessarily when you're being under someone. Yes.
Now, the issue of technical institutions. We've seen the introduction of universities. A technical school that was there before is no longer a technical school. So it's a university now. Now, are we missing out in the points of hands-on skills? Because I remember I started my diploma in a technical school before I headed for my degree. Now, what are we missing out? Are we, the issue of technical schools, are we throwing them out and just taking people to the university because of the nation, it's a university, and so many people are rushing out there? Where are we missing there on the issue of hands-on skills?
We are missing a lot because for us to be able to achieve Vision 2030, one of the things which was a key pillar, here we talked about the political, the social, and also the economic pillar. Some of these things, we can actually be able to achieve them through the technical schools. Now, in Kenya, if you are to look at those people who make shoes, how many are they? Talk about butter, that is the only thing which can come in our mouth, because that is something which we only know. But remember, if we have these technical schools, remember they provide the skills which are necessary to achieve our Vision 2030. We cannot achieve Vision 2030 when we are in offices. We need the people with the technical skills. We need plumbers. We need masonry. We need the tailors. Okay? We need people who can do wiring. The people who are making our roads, we cannot all purport to be engineers and say that we are going to become, to achieve Vision 2030. We need people who will achieve, we need people who will work or who will provide the necessary skills which are required so that we can actually be able to achieve our Vision 2030. So technical skills are key. But remember, we will not get our technical skills if our political pillar, which is supposed to bring the leadership which is required, does not see that part of it. So Vision 2030 might become just another Vision 2030. So our political leaders, they must provide us with the technical institutions where we'll be able to get these schools. They are key and they are pivotal in our economy.
Wow, thank you very much. Now, the issue of 30% of the tenders for the youths, women, and people with disability. We've seen most of the young people are not actually taking the opportunity. This opportunity has been left out for women and maybe people with disability, which are actually few. Why aren't the youths coming out clearly to go for the tenders? I did try once. I didn't go back there. So it has been an issue. So many, you asked about so many things you're required to have, so many things on your table, and sometimes for a young person it becomes hard. How can you tell us what should the young people do?
A lot needs to be done. If you look at the 30%, which is meant to be for the youth, women and people with disability. Now, one, awareness has not been created. The money is there, yes, but do they even know where to begin to go and get that money? Someone sits in the office who has been given that role of making sure that people have the right tenders, but there is only a very small percentage of the youth which is aware. Now look at the Youth Enterprise Program. That was a very good program which was meant to empower our youth through the businesses. Now when you go there, you're supposed to be at least a minimum of 10 people. You're supposed to have an account which has been operating for at least 6 months. So the youth are not even aware of it. So it is me and you who think that there's the youth fund, can we go for it? Then we say what? Immediately let us form a group. When you go there, you're told, one, you must have a bank statement showing that you have been in operation for 6 months. Secondly, you must have a constitution. These people, they don't even know how to write a constitution. They don't. We only know of the Kenyan constitution. So the other constitution which you're talking about, the youth, they have no idea at all. Secondly, someone tells them, you must give us a business plan. Who is going to do that business plan? We are not saying that everybody who is in that group has gone to school and they know how to do a business plan. Actually, some of us, we are privileged to know how to do business plan because we are in that line, is it? So the person who is supposed to go out to train, let them not just sit comfortably in the office.
office,
Can
yeah.
they go out and sensitize people about the programs which are there? These are can they come up with programs, okay, which the youth can actually attend, or they have some training where the youth can go, get the training, let them start the businesses, and let someone be there to help them during their incubation period, so that we cannot just start a business, then in the next 2 years it is done. And remember, this is money which you're supposed to pay. The only advantage is that you pay it with no interest, and you pay it at least with a longer period. So let's have people training the youth. Let's have people telling youth that the government has come up with a program where you can get funds, and you go and get what? And you get some funds, and you start some businesses. The issue of tenders again. These people, they don't even know where to start. They don't even know the tendering process.
They don't
so can we have our leaders? I have said that once we started this debate, we said that the greatest asset that Kenya has is the youth.
Yeah.
They are not tomorrow leaders, as we say.
No.
Those are supposed to be leaders for today. Because they are the people who have the energy to work, and the people who will take care of their future. So let's have leadership which is minding about our youth. Let's have programs where we'll have our youth be trained and at least be able to work on this program, and they can become self-sustaining.
Yeah. Now, I still have an issue with the issue of youth fund. That was supposed to be my next question. The youth fund now. When it came out, most of us, I was part of it, I was out there. We needed a team. We were only 3. So we had to look for the 7 others. So we looked for our friends who didn't have the same objective as we did, and we went to look for money. When we went for that money, I can tell you we've been able to pay the 3 of us who are left there. The 7 left. Now, what is the issue with the youth fund? Why aren't the young people coming out? Apart from being sensitized, some of them know, very few indeed, and the few that know, they are not doing anything with that money. What is the problem?
Well, I look at the Kenyan youth. Quite a good number of them, they just think that the youth fund, hii ni pesa ya serikali. If I may use that.
Yeah.
Meaning, this is money to be spent and not to be paid. So the expectation is that we go, we be given that money, we share among ourselves. Imagine we are 10 of us, and we have been given 50,000. That means if we share the money among ourselves, each goes with how much?
5,000.
Each goes with 5,000. So what are you going to do with 5,000?
Really, nothing.
So as much as we want to get this money, if you want that money, make sure that you come up with a group, make sure that you are sharing the same objective, so that when you get that money, you will have already identified a project that we are going to do fish farming. If you are not going to do fish farming, we are going maybe to be printing t-shirts. Okay? If it is not printing t-shirt, come up with a project which at least all of you are able to share. So that you can be able to work together as a team. Because when you go there in the mind that we are going to share this money amongst ourselves, then what happens? You get your 5,000, I get my 5,000. Within 2 months, the group is no longer there. The group is no longer there. Then we must provide the necessary leadership. Again, the term leadership is coming up, because you cannot get that money without a vision. Okay? And we say that whoever is going to come up with that mind, because it is not all of us who are going to come up with that mind, we must have a person who is going to provide leadership and sell the idea, so that all the other group members can be able to buy it.
Now, on the issue of leadership, you've actually mentioned it twice. Our leaders focused on assisting the young people, or the kind of political thing that is going around, especially now this time. Are we really focused on helping the young people, or is this a one-man thing? Are we really focusing about tomorrow? Is our political leadership looking at tomorrow? because youths are the drivers of the economy. Are we really looking into them, or are we focused in other issues, or are we misplaced in terms of devolution? Or when we were devolved, was there an issue that happened with the youth?
Well, when we went to the devolution, and if you look at our constitution, we are supposed, for example, like the issue of CDF, we are supposed to have an office for the youth. But are those offices there?
No.
They are only there by the name, but practically they are not, there. If you look at all the politicians at this time, everybody is talking what they are going to do about the youth. And you find that every person wants to say that I am for the youth. But what happens when we give them the seats, when we elect them in their offices? The youth becomes a forgotten rot. And that is why you find that the youth also, they have devised a way of maximizing the money which they can get from the politician this particular time. Because they also have a mindset that if these people go to their office, majority of them, they forget about us. So my wish and my prayer is that when we elect these people to the offices, can we have the youth offices where we'll have people advocating for the youth? Once in a while, you hear someone saying, I am the president for the youth in this county, in that county. But that is just a name. Because what programs have you come up with for the youth? They are not there at all. They are not there.
Now, the issue of, we are talking, there's a recent study that has been done by UNDP, and they are saying that a third of the household enterprises in the rural areas are owned by the young people, and half of them in the urban areas are owned by the young people. Do you think we are really tapping into the full potential of our young people? Are we really tapping into the full potential?
Well, if you look at the reason why people go into business, is what?
It's money.
It's money. What drives them to the business? It's the necessity, is it?
Yeah.
You have gone to campus, you have gone to the college, and then you have realized year one, no employment. Year two, no employment. And then someone decides, I think I need to start a business, is it?
Yeah.
Because you cannot sit there and you wait for employment to come. So most of the people go into business accidentally. That is how I can say it.
Yeah.
But I wish they can see it as another source of income, not accidentally, but as a choice.
Yeah.
And if you look at majority of the people, as you have said, if you go to urban areas, quite a number of people, they have gone into entrepreneurship, or they have opened the small medium enterprises. Why are they doing it? They have realized that actually the salary which I'm getting at the end of the month, it is not able to pay my bills, is it?
Yeah.
So out of necessity, they have gone into business, is it? And eventually you realize that if you go into business, majority of them, they are living what? Employment.
Yeah.
So that one clearly shows that there is what? There is a greener pasture out there in entrepreneurship other than in employment. So if we get the right exposure, then we can actually make our youth go into business. Yeah.
Madam Ann,
Yes.
it was very nice having you. Thank you very much for coming. We'll surely invite you again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Our viewers, thank you for watching Sharp Business. This is where we want you to be the game changer. We've come to the end of our show. See you next week.